Okay.
Do we have to push?
Are live.
Okay, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the September 16th, 2025 edition of the Washington County Committee for Community Involvement, the CCI, or WCCI, since there's CCIs in various cities around the state. WCCI. My name is Bruce Bartlett. I'm the chair of this group. We have Mary Manso here in the room with us. We are meeting for the first time since COVID in a in-person and virtual meeting. So hello to everybody out there in virtual land. There's a few people here in the room, and I would like to thank Ika Falstrom, our Office of Opportunity and Engagement and Opportunity, for being the staff support for this meeting. And without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Alicia Sojourner, the Director of the Office of Access and Opportunity, to our meeting tonight. And she has a variety of things to share with us, and I look forward to hearing what she has to say. So without any further ado, Alicia, I welcome you. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, all the members of CCI for the invite. I'm really honored to be with you again this evening to chat a little bit about the county's journey from our evolution from equity, diversity, inclusion to access and opportunity. So I'll give a little background around that evolution, where we're at now, and some of the next pieces within that journey. Ika is we're trying to get the PowerPoint up so you all can see it as well. So I'll just start off, oh, never mind. She is that fast and that good. So
there's always some kind of technical issue.
Okay, you want to just go to the next slide for me, please? Thank you. Okay.
There we go.
Oh, no. Oh, perfect. Thank you. So just wanted to start off, so everybody is, we're all somewhat reading from the same page, if you will, around this journey to access and opportunity. So for the past over 5 years, the county in 2020 passed an equity resolution. And that equity resolution was really the creation of the Office of the Office of Equity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement. Through that work, there was, over the past little bit more than 5 years, lots of milestones has been made through that journey. And this year, in January of 2025, at that point, our newly elected president, President Trump, released a number of executive orders on his first day. And one of those executive orders was making sure that illegal DEI is not happening across the nation. One thing I want to make very clear, and we continuously said this, the county has never engaged in illegal DEI work. And so I just wanted to amplify that. Through that process, we started to understand a little bit more from the federal administration around really what do they mean by illegal DEI, because at that time we didn't have any guidance about what that really meant. also through that journey, we also found out that any municipality, so whether if that's county, city, or state, if they were engaged within illegal DEI or actually any type of DEI work, that um, there may be funding that would be in jeopardy. We are a county that receives a lot of federal grants, either directly from the federal government or through what we call pass through. So it gets sent to the state, and then the state dispersed within the state itself. And we knew that there would be approximately at that time around $150 million that we may be in jeopardy on if we continue around utilizing DEI terminology. And so the board met and they decided to do a new resolution in order that is built on top of the 2020 equity resolution. So the board did not repeal the 2020 equity resolution, but instead created a new resolution that is rooted in civil rights, and our evolutionary approach is now what we call access and opportunity. And so for us, when we're talking about access, we are meaning that we are designing our systems where everybody in the county, regardless of their background, their ability, their lived experiences, can enter, participate, and thrive when it's connected to county services. And we want folks to thrive wherever they're at within the county as well. When we're talking about opportunity, we are talking about that how we design our services here at the county. That means that we are creating fair, just, and supportive pathways for all people to grow, lead, and define success on their own terms. So when we're really thinking about access and opportunity here at the county, we're thinking about how do we remove barriers. Currently, we find different barriers that we may not realize is a barrier in the past, but at times we find barriers for full participation within county services. And so one of our big areas there is making sure that we are doing what we can to remove barriers. Also, creating a fair and responsive system. So making sure that when we make decisions, when we create policies, when we create procedures, that we're doing this through a lens of fairness and making sure people receive what they need to thrive. Also, one of our values within the county is around a human-centered design. So in simple terms, is that we are focusing on the human, the person, the individual, and their individual needs. And that includes staff as well. Also, serving every single community member with dignity. We, especially within the Office of Access and Opportunity, we often say community members are people who live, work, play, worship, or maybe just hang out in Washington County. They all utilize our services in different ways, and so we want to make sure that we are meeting individuals' needs. And then a big piece with access and opportunity is we are focused on outcomes. And when we create maybe a new program or a project or any type of incentive, we're thinking about what is the outcome we want to see, or what is the outcome maybe the community wants to see. So we are focusing on outcomes, and especially as we continue to navigate down our access and opportunity journey, we will be having more um, metrics so we can really track the different outcomes throughout our journey. And then last, um, we there's our access and opportunity work is truly rooted within civil rights. And so we want to ensure civil rights for everyone, once again, who works, who lives, who plays within Washington County. So um, this is just another look. One thing that when the newest Access and Opportunity Resolution came out just this past summer, um, a lot of that, the Access and Opportunity Resolution is still very much rooted in a number of different pieces of our work. Is still rooted in fairness and access. We believe, just like we did with the 2020 resolution, within our work now, we believe in co-creating solutions. Um, we don't we don't have county staff don't have all the answers, and so making sure we look at how do we best co-create solutions with the community, for the community, and alongside of the community. Also, making sure that we are delivering services with care and being responsive, upholding civil rights and non-discriminatory laws. And we want to ensure that we connect with community members through a culturally responsive lens, as well as language access as well. Language access is a part of civil rights, and so we are obligated to ensure language access for any individuals who needs alternative forms of language, and that is including global languages, but also Braille and a American Sign Language as well. And then ultimately, we have a belief that we must treat every person fairly and that there is accountability to how we serve our community as well. So the Access and Opportunity Resolution was officially passed in late July. And once that was passed, we sprinted off and started to uh, evolve our access and opportunity work, not just within our department, but also across the organization as well. So our Office of Access and Opportunity, this is not hugely different from when in the past when the department was called Office of Equity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement. Um, we have three main divisions within the office. The first division is our Access and Opportunity Division, and that particular division is internally focused. So that is supporting our staff, our leaders, our board through different pieces like policies and procedures, Part of our internal focus is culture change. So that includes things like professional development for staff, learning opportunities, employee resource groups. So that's really looking at how do we create a culture that is advancing access and opportunity for all. Also under Access and Opportunity Division, looking at data and technical, and we do technical support as well. So data is extremely important when we're looking at how we serve our community members. Um, we use data to see where we may have missing bricks, see who we may be missing within maybe some of our services. We even use data internally as well, looking at different demographics, for an example, for our our staff. And also under that Access and Opportunity Division, we have a supplier diversity that's helping women-owned, minority-owned, vet-owned, disability-owned, and small businesses be able to connect with the county and bid for different positions at the county. So that's a lot of that. A lot of that work is within the Access and Opportunity Division. That division has 3 employees doing that wide spectrum of work. Within our civil rights, our next division is our Civil Rights Division. That is both the internal and external focus. That division is responsible for upholding civil rights under Title II, which has to do with disability, under Title VI and Title VII, which is mainly around access within public spaces and ensuring discrimination does not happen based on protected classes. That division will also do investigations for some possible civil rights infractions. If it's beyond what that division can do, it often then goes to the state. They also highlight and work on the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, which also includes the Rehabilitation Act as well. And a lot of the ADA work is, one, supporting staff internally on how to work with people with different disabilities and understanding the rights of individuals with disabilities. And also this position, this division also will do ADA investigations, and that's often based on land use, transportation, or other possible barriers within the community that people run across. So an example is curb cutouts. Surprisingly, there are still curbs out there that doesn't have a curb cutout. If somebody were to come across that, that would be part of that type of investigation, and they would work with land use and transportation to help update or mitigate some of those pieces. And then language access. Language access is making sure folks have what they need to be able to tap into services at the county. And so that could be interpretation and or translation support. And the last big piece of that division is all of our state and federal reporting. We do a number of different reports for the state and for the federal government, ensuring that we are upholding civil rights within the county. And then the last, and there's one person within that division. And then often I am the backup for that division. And then the last division is our community engagement and participation, which has both the internal and external focus. So that division responsibility is to build, and right now it's in the building stages, but eventually maintain a countywide system for accessible engagement. So that's looking at creating a framework in how do we best connect with community members, what are the best practices, and having a system that all county staff has skills, tools, and knowledge to be able to support community members when it comes to accessible engagement. Also, a piece of that work is to remove barriers to participation. So looking at our current programs around participation. So whether if that's our community boards and commissions, our volunteer programs within the different county, or even CPO and CCI, making sure that there are no unnecessary barriers to participation. Also, something that will be amplified more as we move into this next evolution of access and opportunity is strengthening relationships with focused communities. And when we talk about focused communities, those are communities who have historically been under-engaged within the county. And right now, based on data, we know that the 5 focus communities that are currently under-engaged are communities of color, youth and young adults, often I just say under the age of 30, immigrant and refugee population, communities with disabilities, and I'm blanking out. I do this each time. I'm blanking out on what. It'll come to my brain in a moment, and I'll touch base on that again. And then strengthen relationships with community-based organizations. That is something that we've done a good job, and we want to be better at those relationships with our community-based organizations. That particular division currently has 1 staff, which is the amazing Ika, and we're in the process of hiring her somebody to be working with her, and she is over the moon delighted to have support. And so those are our 3 divisions.
Any timeline on when you expect to hire the help for ICA?
The applications are open right now, I think through this weekend, correct? Okay. Through this weekend, the job is posted, and so people are applying now. And realistically, I would say the new person probably won't come in until November, December, probably, just knowing how the interview process goes and then the offer, and then people typically need a couple weeks to give notice, and then so it'll probably, my assumption is probably late November, maybe early December.
So I've got another question about community-based organizations. So there are organizations like I think typically we talk about organizations around specific cultures, but would like Save Helvetia be considered as a community-based organization? Would Tree Keepers be considered a community-based organization? The organization around the Hillsborough Airport, is there a group that's formed around that? Would they be considered community-based organizations? And are you reaching out to those groups?
So currently, when we think of community-based organizations, it's through the lens of nonprofits, typically, and community-based organizations that historically our partnerships have been with ones that we already have some type of relationship with, whether that's through and typically through grants. So an example, a Health and Human Services, they work with a number of community-based organizations, and there are grants that those organizations receive to support their clientele or support a program that they're navigating. That has historically been the relationship is with those. As we move forward and create our framework, part of that is identifying, and I know we're missing quite a bit of community-based organizations, but part of this work will be who's missing. What do we mean by community-based organizations? Are there and not just community-based organizations, but are there other types of organizations that we should strengthen our relationship with? So we're still within those conversations.
So I would say Save Helvetia has had a strong relationship with LUT.
Oh,
Well, that's,
Bruce, I've had my hand up for about 10 minutes.
okay.
Can I just follow up with the question about the community-based organizations? Because like Save Helvetia, I think, has worked closely with LUT. Tree Keepers has worked with LUT. And Washington County CAN has worked with LUT. So, Housing and Human Services is a different department. Are you reaching out to LUT as well, or is that on the?
that is on our to-do list as we create our framework. Yes.
Good question. Okay, Gretchen, you have your hand up.
Yes, I have a question. You're missing one significant population in the community. Approximately 25% of folks in King City are not on computer, don't have a computer, can't use a computer. And there are people with handicaps with their hands. I'm one of them. I cannot use the county website. I cannot navigate on it. It is very difficult in general, but now with my hand limitations, that's a disability that you should be doing outreach, and you should have a place where people who don't have computers can have input into what's going on in the county.
Thank you. Thank you. I've jotted that down.
Okay, are you complete, Gretchen?
Yes, thank you.
You bet. Ayla, what do you have?
Yeah, good evening. I guess having some historical relationship with the origins of CPO, I'm kind of curious about how the history of nonprofits are recognized as these organizations that is usually and typically been the past practice. It's my concern that the people decide what community groups we need to bring forth to the county, as well as the county recognizing groups they want to work with. And I just want to make sure that this is a two-way street and it's not based on wherever the grants are, that's where we go. I want to be based on issues in our community, and then we find the resources we need to improve things based on the identified need, not just based on some organization that's getting a grant. And so that's where we put our attention.
Thank you, Ayla. I wrote that down. These are most definitely conversations that we started to have and will continue to have. So I wrote that down.
Do you need the slide up still?
I have a few more.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Fran, I see you have your hand up. Do you have a question germane to this, or there's a few more slides to go in the presentation?
Is she muted?
Yes.
Sorry. Mary Manso mentioned, this is Fran Warren of Tree Keepers. Mary had mentioned our group as one of the ones as a potential. And I've been trying for quite a while to get connection. We do a lot of community engagement, and we have, pardon me, Ayla, you had a really great way of phrasing it. We should go for where the need is. But we do happen to have one grant already in place for community engagement regarding tree canopy at schools, and another one, a very strong one, contention with the state to do community engagement with low income migrant groups. So just kind of putting in a thing there that if you don't include us, I think you're going to be missing an opportunity.
Could you rephrase the question or the comment? I'm not sure that the speaker goes into the microphone as well for the audience to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are, and I think maybe the next couple slides will also help with the access and opportunity resolution in order just passing officially at the end of July. We are in the process of creating frameworks for how we work within the community and then also across the organization. And so these are things that we are having conversations about. As I said earlier, historically, relationships with CBOs have been based on grants. And we know that we are missing folks. And so that is part of our conversation. What nonprofits, what community-based organizations, who else may be missing from the conversations and from our connections at the county. So we are excited to be having these conversations, and those comments I appreciate because it will be something that we will be aware of and thinking about as we continue. Ika, can you forward the slide? For whatever reason, it's not working. Thank you. This is just a quick snapshot of what we are currently working on within our evolution, moving from the Office of Equity, Inclusion, Community Engagement to the Office of Access and Opportunity. One of the first things within the Office of Access and Opportunity We are evolving our mission, our vision, and our values on how we work and how we serve. We are currently updating our policies and procedures. We are doing a lot of website language update, and actually not just our department. Every single department is going through and updating language as well. And we are currently working on creating a framework, and that will help us advance access and opportunity across the organization. Within the civil rights, we are currently working on our equal opportunity, our equal employment opportunity plan. We are required by law to have a EEOP, and so we are in the midst of updating that, and we are also updating our language access plan. And then within the community engagement side, the CPO CCI modernization project, I know you all are familiar with that. It was on pause, and we're looking in the next few weeks to get that up and going again. We had a lot of movement over the summer with the resolution, and so now we are going to be picking that back up. We are creating a system-wide approach to our current community boards and commission and volunteer systems. Also, we are working on creating a community engagement framework, as well as we've been talking about evolving our civic leader program. And those are, and that particular conversation, we just kicked off our first official conversation last week. I'm constantly looking at Ika because she has a better memory than I do.
And who's that conversation with?
Well, right now, for the past 8 years, Mujeres, Alavante Mujeres, thank you, Ika, has been the holder of that. And while we really do appreciate all of the hard work, we also know that it's time to also evolve that program. And so that first initial conversation was really just understanding their approach and really understanding also their possible continued involvement with it. But the one piece is that we will be bringing that civic leadership program into the county. So instead of having a community-based organization lead it, we're bringing it back in-house. And we'll be leading that work. We're just really looking at what does that look like and what does that truly mean. But that first conversation was with the holder of that contract for the past 8 years.
So if it does come in-house, will people who are everybody, will it be inclusive of everybody, or will it still be focused on underserved populations?
So it will always be open to everybody, and right now it is open to everybody, even in the past. So it will be open to everybody, and we do want to ensure that folks who historically have not been engaged are engaged. We are talking about, in one particular area, having a civic leadership program that is geared for youth. That is the one piece that would probably still focus. It'll be a single focus as in youth. And that could be youth from anywhere within the county. But those are still conversations.
So one of the things I've heard out in the community is that the extension service, when you go through extension service training, there's a requirement that you give X number of hours back to the community. Is that something that the county has considered?
Not until you just said something.
Well, it's like we feel like we keep talking and talking and talking, and apparently we're not getting the information to the ears that need to hear it.
Excellent point. We're Alicia has a few more minutes here, and Ayla, what do you have?
Yeah, just briefly. When these civic leaders are being considered for certain programs, who is doing the selection and appointment? And are CPOs going to be involved with bringing forward people they are recommending and have some say in this?
I'm sorry, Ayla. Can you?
Who selects the participants for the next cohort of the civic leader training?
So we currently, thank you. We currently do not have another cohort planned as of right now because we do want to evolve that program. As for selection, that question is a great question, and it's way down the road because we're not even sure what that program may look like as we are evolving it.
I guess my suggestion would be that, we have a lot of great, wise people in our CPOs. And even though 7 of us have attend a meeting, we represent many more. And I think that from the beginning, it's just like I've asked LUT with their comprehensive plan changes, you need to involve the CPO folks from the beginning. We don't want to hear about it after everybody else in this department has decided how it's going to be. We are the leaders in our communities, and we need to be involved from the beginning, please.
Okay, I will note that.
Thank you. Virginia, what do you have?
Is it time for comments, or does Alicia want to finish?
Yeah, it is.
Well, is Alicia done?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it, Virginia.
Okay. Well, one thing I wanted to say is that closed captioning on meetings is very important. The board meetings do not have simultaneous closed captioning. And I was in communication with the clerk of the board. I mean, we have simultaneous closed captionings here on our Zoom meeting. And he was very surprised. He said that their system doesn't allow for closed captions to be displayed until several days later. Not all hard of hearing people want to learn sign language. That's minor. I had applied several times to try to get into the Civic Leaders Program, and I was told that I wasn't eligible because I wasn't a minority, just to let you know. But the main thing that I wanted to say is that the CPO people have been hoping and waiting for years to have the kind of support that we need to be able to serve the community in a broader sense. And our budgets have been cut, our support has been cut, our access to systems has been cut, and we've been minimized, ignored, and stuck in a corner. We want to reach out to everybody. And the descriptions you had in your first slide about all the different areas just describes the CPO system. It's there for you to use. And I'm just curious why the wheel needs to be reinvented, and that you don't believe us when we say we want to reach out to everybody.
So first, Virginia, I just want to say I am sorry that you were told that you do not qualify for civic leadership in the past. I have no other words besides.
I'm not alone.
I'm sorry.
There are other CPO leaders that have had the same experience.
Yep. Okay, and then I'll just wrap up. As we move forward, that will not be the case for the civic leadership program. I'm going to check in on the closed captioning because that is very important. I myself also I'm hearing impaired, so I rely very, very much on closed captioning. So I will check on that as well. So I just wanted to circle back on those couple pieces.
Thank you. Okay, we have two more questions. Nancy, you've had your hand up, and then Joe will get to you.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to say, when I started my role as the chair of CPO7 about a year and a half ago, I was excited about reaching out to Alejandra Mujeres to see if maybe we could partner with some of the folks that were participating in their program, just to give them a taste of county leadership, LUT experience, but I never heard back from them. So I'm really excited that that is again going to be a focus because I think that's super important and super helpful to both groups. I did have a question when you were talking about overall identifying outcomes. And my question would be, are you even at a point where you have talked about how you would measure success? Would the idea be that you would maybe partner with Portland State or a group that would be able to do some pretty objective, thorough evaluation? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So we are not at that point to have key performance indicators of our work. We will most definitely get there. I will say one of our staff, Aster Pritchard, oh my goodness, I tell you, my brain. He is excuse me, they are an amazing data genius. Actually, let me rephrase this. Dr. Aster Pritchard. And so we have an amazing staff member currently that can really help us in not just having, any type of key performance indicators, but ones that actually matter for the community, that shows actual movement within the community as well. So that is we're not there quite yet, but hopefully we'll be there sooner than later, and we'll be able to our thought process is to regularly check in with you all as well, making sure that we're not missing pieces of the puzzle. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. And then Joe, what would you like to ask?
Unmute. Unmute.
If you're trying, we can't hear you, Joe, and you may be muted. You may have had your hand up so long you wandered off.
Have you thought of what the fifth thing was? Color, youth and young adults, the immigrant, and can't read my handwriting. Refugee, disabilities, and older adults?
No.
Currently older adults are the largest age group population that is engaged, which we love it. We love it. But yeah, after a 12-hour workday and this time at night, my brain is just not braining right now.
So the other question I have, can we get copies of the slides? And can we
100%.
get copies of the acre slides as well?
So I will actually, Ika has this, so she can send it out tomorrow, and I'll make sure she has a copy of the acre slides. From which meeting? The last?
The last meeting, yes.
Yep. Sure.
Wonderful. Would you like to make a closing remark?
I just want to say, so in my full 9 months of being at the county, I have connected with a number of you in some one-on-ones, over the phone, and I just want to say thank you for all of the work that you are doing within the community and really amplifying that. I've been doing this work at a government level for many years. We won't say how many, but for many years. And the one thing that I believe to be true is we are only as strong as our community engagement is. And so I really appreciate all of the work and the connections that you all do and make within the county. So I thank you. I just wanted to really say thank you.
All right. Well, that concludes this portion of the CCI meeting. Thank you,
So Bruce,
Alicia,
I have one follow-up question.
Sojourner, and Mary.
So we have 3 departments, or whatever we call them, divisions. We have 3 divisions. Will the budget be set up in the coming year with those 3 divisions, or will the budget be its own set of groupings?
So currently, the Office of Access and Opportunity has 3 funding lines. One for overall access and opportunity, one for overall community engagement, and one for CPO and CCI. As we move into our next budget cycle, which I can't believe is already budget time coming up here soon, our Office of Access and Opportunity and the County Administrative Office, we are actually going to be merging our budget, and what that will look like, I'm not sure quite yet. But some of that is, I'm sure you all know that in the past 5 years, we have been in a budget deficit. And this past year, I'm sure you all know, we even had to lay a number of people off, including even somebody who worked with you all very closely. And so I do not believe our budget woes have been fixed. And I don't know what that will mean as we move into the next budget cycle. But we are looking at how do we best support this work with the budget constraints that we have. So there's a big question there. That's to be determined.
Thank you.
Do you have time for another question?
Sure.
Okay. Joe, I see you came back online with your hand up.
I see Isla.
I see Isla too.
Do I see Joe?
Ayla. Joe is very good. Ayla, what do you have?
You're muted, Ayla.
Boom, 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 boom.
I want to say just briefly that, in the CPO world, 2 of the most important things that we ground ourselves in is citizen participation, which is goal 1, and goal 5 is a huge portion of what we look at with significant natural resources, land use, middle housing. And of course, that actually takes in, the overlay of transportation as well. And so I'd like to make sure that Goal 5 is a part of your structure and that your staff really becomes familiar with how that needs to get incorporated into your objectives, that we start doing a different level of protection and inventory of things that we have that are heritage, historical, significant natural resource. The county is seriously lacking in inventory and data, and we need that to function as CPOs. Thank you.
Good
Thank
point.
you.
Good point.
I wrote it down, so I will do more research. Thank you.
And Michael, what do you have?
Simple question. Switching from the DEI office to the A&O office, what has been the cost? Literally, how many dollars are we spending to delete DEI and create A&O?
That is a really good question, and I do not have an answer off the top of my head. I could do some looking into that and see what that number may be, but I don't have that information. We have not even looked at that information.
It should be part of it, seeing how we have budget issues with the county to the fact that it even affected the CCI and CPO program. So if we're spending money on just switching something over, we should have a knowledge of what it is and what we are sacrificing to get that.
Okay, thank you.
It strikes me as akin to a corporate restructuring kind of activity, and the equity office had been in existence for a while and arguably was due for a little bit of reorganization. So that is a good question, though.
It's spending some money to gain more money in terms of the grant stuff. I think we need to keep that in perspective.
Well, and yes, that was one of our big pieces, is that grant money and what those and the programs that it serve is some of our most vulnerable community members. And so ensuring that that the county is not losing out on dollars for our most vulnerable individuals.
And there seems to have been a federal impetus to do the work. So, Ayla, do you still have your hand up?
Yeah, I forgot. I promised my SNR group that I would bring up these two other issues. It has to do with structuring for CPO to be able to communicate with the Board of Commissioners and or the Planning Commission on a regular basis, that we have secured some venue, some avenue that there is a discussion how a group can talk to either of those entities. And my recommendation is that the CPOs have at least 2 times a month be on the Board of Commissioners agenda, just like approving the minutes or anything else. There's a 15-minute slot for a CPO group to present, and they have that time that it's guaranteed to them. And whether it's 2 CPOs that have opposing opinions or a CPO bringing a guest speaker to share information that they want brought to the attention of the commissioners or the Planning Commission, we need a pathway. Right now, the Board of Commissioners has wiped out the entire testimonial guidelines, procedures, policies for a group to talk to them, and that excluded us. And that needs to be restored, please, in a more permanent manner that we can count on, especially since you've taken away the mailing of notices now, and we are totally dependent on looking at the land use transportation spreadsheets to know what's going on in our CPOs. We're not getting paper notice. This is a big problem. And finally, I want to know how the CPO program is going to be woven into an already existing structure. The chair of the commissioner meets with the cities, the mayors every month, and we need to incorporate our cities into our CPOs and have a good relationship with them and represent them and have a liaison in our CPOs and work as a group. We are not isolated from each other just because they are a municipality that's different than the county. Thank you.
And those are a couple of very good topics as we get into the modernization details. Thank you for bringing them up, Ayla. Okay, I understand that Alicia has a time limit now, and I'd like to thank her for coming. Virtual applause, everybody. Yay. This is the beginning of a dialogue. I look forward to more, and thank you for showing up.
Of course. Thank you all. Thanks for having me.
Okay. And Virginia.
I was thinking about what CPO 1 and CPO 7 are going through at the moment with the transitional housing situation, as Alicia was describing the ideal county, since there has been no transparency, an absolute rebuff of the community, and extreme control of the information that's being shared with the community. It was just on my mind as she was talking about all that, and I know Mary will agree with me.
That is an interesting situation, to be sure. That is a reference to a topic that is about transitional housing that's on the borderline between CPOs 1 and 7, and housing services has not been as engaged with us as we would like. So that's the deal right there. So okay, everybody take a breath.
We have a lot of very upset community members, and it should be an interesting meeting. Our October 14th, I believe.
October 14th, is it?
It is.
Okay, well, that actually, is there anything else, Virginia, since you have the floor right now, that you'd like to say that's going on in CPO 1, since we kind of started that general topic?
Not much development, no. But really getting ready for that October meeting, we have questions that were submitted by the community. We were told that our deadline to submit questions to HHS was last Friday. We got a list of questions to them on Monday, and then one of CPO 7's members submitted a bunch more questions, which I haven't had time to deal with. The other thing going on in CPO 1 is, of course, the Cider Festival on Sunday.
And how many years have we been doing the Cedar Mill Cider Festival?
Well, we skipped a few, but we started it in 2007. And it was an effort to create a community tradition to bring people together to have fun, meet their neighbors, feel like part of a community. It's one of the difficulties of being urban unincorporated, is that we don't have a city sponsoring activities, community building activities that create a community. So I just decided to step up. And the Tualatin Hills Park and Rec District stepped up right behind us and has supported us all these years. It's Sunday, noon to 4 at the JQA Young House on Cornell, and there's fun for everybody.
And fresh pressed apple cider by the Boy Scouts. Okay, that's the CPO 1 update. I would like to go through the subcommittee reports. If there's anybody here from the land use subcommittee that would like to say a few words about anything you've been doing, this would be a good time. And I think that tree keepers falls into the land use, a significant natural resource. So any land use subcommittee update by anybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I missed the first 40 minutes of the meeting, but I did hear Ayla talking about some of what we talked about today, and she did a pretty good presentation of that, very complete. So we talked about a development application in Laurelwood, and there's an appeal of 150 acre application, and there's many grounds for the appeal, including protection of wildlife corridors, the floodplain, and landslide issues. We talked about septic fields and the CCI issue of legal notifications. We for years had legal notifications as paper, via paper, and people could do well with that. So we're kind of wondering, it's tough for CPO participation. We think that CPO participation perhaps has gone down since the newsletters were eliminated. But we're going to put that on our questionnaire, as we have an evaluation questionnaire that we put together. So we need to do kind of an audit on that. We want to see how much the actual membership is of the various CPOs and who's getting the mailings, or at least the number of people getting the mailings. So we want to do an inventory of ourselves, listing members, and clarification. And clarification that the CPOs, everyone who lives or works in a CPO can be an active member of the CPO. We talked about the group testimony guidelines that have been changed. And again, the notion that cities have many county issues and counties have city issues, whether it's UGB expansion, libraries, roads, a number of things. So we are focused on goal 1 and citizen development. We're also, another goal of ours is goal 5, but we are going to look at all the different goals. We did talk about wildlife that we'd seen, and our members have seen in the past month or so big cougar, barred owl, explosion of rodents, barn kittens, skunks, raccoons, owls, large birds, squirrels, chipmunks, deer, blackbirds, blue jays, stellars, and frogs. So again, we did discuss the historical museum, and that would fit under goal 5 as far as the land use goals for heritage protection. The middle housing activity right now seems to be happening in CPO 6 and CPO 7.
Not in 7. We've got a big one in 7, but there's a lot more activity in 1 and 6.
Okay. I'm making notes as we go along. And one of the things that was discussed, and I want to get the numbers here, that there were a zillion land use applications on the site, and we counted them, it was like 53 or 56. So there's lots of applications out there, and we don't know that they're getting full vetting, but we're interested in checking and evaluating that. So if you have questions, let me know, but that's kind of a quick summary from what we had discussed at our last meeting.
I think there needs to be better information about the changes in the notifications that are going out. I think we may not have gotten full information, because it sounds like in further communications that Virginia Bruce had with LUT, we're going to get both paper applications as well as the online. Virginia's shaking her head no.
Yes, I've been wanting to say this for
Okay,
a while.
okay,
I wanted
okay,
to clarify.
but the other thing is I don't think they're ready to stop the paper notices either. I think that was premature.
That's what I've been trying to say. I
Okay.
have gotten 2 now email notices and 2 papers notices mailed to me, follow up. So it's actually better. We're getting the email notices earlier, and we're still getting the big paper bricks. And that's the communication subcommittee report. So there you go.
All right, check it off. Jim, do you feel complete on the SNR subcommittee report?
Yes, for now. Now, we would expect in the next month or two to have some outreach to all the different CPOs about what's happening there with specific questions that we'd like to gather information on so that we can come out with an annual report. Oh, maybe, middle of next year or so. So we'll be working on that and can report on that next month.
Awesome. Mr. Ken Seymour, do you have any transportation subcommittee things to? Oh, Ayla, I see you have your hand up. You had your hand up.
So I was just going to say that I got notice that if that's snail mail is paper mail, I was told that I will not be getting any. So I discontinued my PO box that I had for CPO 14.
Who told you about no more snail mail?
The county. It was, I don't know if it was on, I think I got an email about it.
Are we talking about the email that ICA sent out?
I don't know where it generated from, but it just said there won't be any more mailings. I'm assuming it's budget cuts.
I have for the steering committee tomorrow to discuss this issue so that we can request a clear statement from LUT on what their intentions are.
Thank you.
Cool, thanks. Anything else in the significant natural resource or land use domain? Very good. Now, Ken, you got any transportation activities?
Well, I'll tell you, we've been pretty much, our CPL's been on a little hiatus over the summer.
Good.
However, this evening I did go to an open house presentation at Witch Hazel Elementary for the River Road proposed closure, which is really in CPO 10. But I've been getting some inquiries from our CPO about that particular road closure. I don't know if you're all aware of it, but there's a big development planned on River Road in South Hillsborough. And they're talking about closing River Road for like 5 months in order to put a sewer system in. So, boy, there were a lot of people there up in arms, concerned about the detour. Long story short, is evidently they're going to the county commissioners at the end of September here to talk about it, and they're going to make a decision on how to deal with this road closure. So that is pretty much what I've been involved with since I got back from vacation. So I don't know if anyone's heard about that, but evidently it's quite a big deal, and they got 3 proposals they're planning. Each proposal that the planners are not planners of the county, but planners of the development. There's 3 different proposals. One is like 5 months, and then they're going to have to close off River Road with signs and, have put up traffic mitigation, people that be able to pass traffic wherever the roads go. There's another plan that closes the roads for a lot shorter duration, but closing the road means a lot longer period for them to construct the whole process. So there's like 3 plans, and I can get that information when I get it sent to me. But like I said, that's one of the issues that I'm getting some inquiries about.
Ken,
Okay, Gretchen, go ahead.
we just went through this with putting in sewers, water, everything to our new development down at the end at Roy Rogers and Beef Bend.
Yeah.
And we we didn't close Beef Bend. It would have closed miles of Beef Bend. And during the day, they would have times when they'd have only one-way traffic, but they never closed the road. And there's no reason that that same process can't happen on River Road. So I would really push back hard.
Right. I'd be curious to know exactly how you mitigated that. But, you know, the presentation that we saw this evening was they got to dig 33-foot trenches, heavy equipment, this and that. So I'm sure
Yeah.
sure the same thing happened
And they
down
don't need to, well, they don't need to have it all under the road. They can have some of it in the right of way off to the side. And that's one of the things, the decision that was made to put part of it off to the side. So I just passed that on, Ken.
No, that's good to know. I did inquire with Dayami a couple of days ago, and I haven't heard back yet, just to see what his take on it was. But I don't have any feedback from him yet, so I'd be curious. I'll bring that up when I do get a hold of him.
Is that a fresh hand up, Gretchen? Nope. Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to lower.
I did notice that Tigard was having an open house on River Terrace 2 tonight, asking about a variety of what people want to see. And it's always interesting to see what the sort of blue sky plan is and what actually gets built as the years go by and the thing gets built out. I didn't go to that. Let's see, is there any other traffic stuff? I think
if there's, let me interrupt here real quick, Bruce. I was just going to say, if there's any people have
take it away.
Yeah, if people have any concerns or new issues about transportation matters, you know, let me know and we'll get digging on it. So that's it.
Okay, and Ken Seymour, Mr. Transportation Subcommittee Chair.
Ken, I have one more comment. Sorry.
Oh, good.
We have a serious problem on Beef Bend that we have two streets coming down the hill from Bull Mountain, and in between the two streets that are just, maybe 2 blocks apart, there's a street coming up from the south. And it's a head-on collision waiting to happen as people are trying to make left turns, etc. And they're planning on making 137th a more major street, which is scary, which is the street in the middle. It seems to me a cheap way, the county doesn't want to put traffic lights on. It seems to me we could advocate for stop signs at dangerous spots. And that's a cheap short-term fix. So I just wanted to put that in your head, that where there are dangerous traffic situations, that stop signs might be a cheap fix.
This is in the city of Tigard now?
I was going to say, is there a city? Is this unincorporated county, or is this likely to be in the city? A city.
It's going to be in the city, but it's a county road.
What city? What city?
It's between Tigard and King City. Okay. And the side on Tigard's side, it is not in the city. It's unincorporated Washington County. So I'm advocating for how we could inexpensively do some amelioration of serious traffic hazards. And it's not just our road, but lots of places around the county where you've got traffic crossing and heavy levels of traffic. We're almost up to 50,000 cars a day on Beef Bend Road.
So the county is the main point of focus on. Okay.
Yeah. And I think we could do some advocating for that.
Okay.
Awesome. I won't even bring up Tile Flat Road at this point.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on that.
Say that.
What a joyful idea.
Yeah, but let's just leave it there. So, okay, so the Communication Subcommittee, Transportation. So we have gone through our subcommittee reports. little CPO leaders
So
round.
did we do a complete report on communication? Because we did have a fair
Oh,
discussion on the agenda.
okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I completely skipped the part
Okay.
where we talked about our CPO email addresses. And it came up in relation to the news that LUT would be sending development I'm sorry, I'm eating dinner. That LUT would be sending development applications to CPO X leaders at Gmail addresses. And we were trying to determine whether those were all being used and being distributed. And I'm still, ICA had some limited information, but it's a CCI topic. We need to make sure that if important notices are getting sent to those people through those email addresses, that those CPO leaders are engaged with those email addresses.
So Jim, does this dovetail in with any of the kind of checking of who gets announcements work that you're going to be doing?
Yes, completely.
And I mean, we flogged people for months when we were trying to get that set up.
Well, last year I
still
sent.
am not absolutely sure who all is actually
Receiving.
not
Well,
getting them.
last year I did a test of all of those email addresses and was gratified that most of the people responded that they were getting them. So I think it's something that requires a periodic check-in to make sure
it does,
that,
because new people come in and need to be added to the distribution list and so forth. And the county doesn't even use it. I get emails that should go to CPO1 leaders, and I need to forward them.
well, I get three things: one to me, one to CPO1 leaders, one to the CCI leaders email. So I get three notifications, email notifications on a lot of stuff. So okay. That brings us to,
Yeah, that's my reply.
okay. That brings us to the
No,
no,
because we
yes,
also
no.
had a long conversation about the agenda that gets mailed out. And I don't know that we came to any conclusions, but it seemed to be that different CPOs have different needs. We're trying to create a template. And it seems like there's some CPOs that just send an email rather than a formal agenda.
I have something that we can kick around at the steering committee meeting tomorrow. I think that there's a certain discipline that CPO leaders need to sign up for in dealing with agendas, but it really is, I think I'd like to have a steering committee powwow on it, if you will, before we bring it to this group as a whole. So, Fran, what do you got?
Sorry. When you're done with the CPO report outs, I'd like to give a tree keepers report out.
Okay.
So a couple of things. One is that we have done a recent project. I think we've been telling you about cool schools. And at the Vose Elementary School, one of the key things we did to initiate the community engagement was we showed up. We had 17 volunteers come and clean up the trees on Vose. They were just engulfed with weeds and all kinds of stuff. And we watered, put these tree watering bags on all these trees which were dying, et cetera. And what that did is on the first day of school, parents who were dropping off their kids were feeling really, really good about the major difference in their school campus, feeling a lot better about it. So we will be doing a lot more of showing up, and then we will be doing some more significant community engagement with the neighborhood so that they will take on responsibility for long-term sustaining of the trees that planted. So that's going to be a project, ongoing project, and I'll probably give some report outs about the case study that we're doing. The other thing is that we have a webinar Thursday night about oaks. So please feel free to go to our website and see it's going to be a pretty incredible arborist talking about how important they are and how to maintain and how to deal with some of the problems we're facing with our Oregon white oaks. And then the other one is that I believe we're going to show up at Cedar Mill, the cider festival. So I've had some family situations, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have a table there.
Yes, let me add another aspect of the cider festival is that we're going to have a dedication of 3 heritage trees that have endured on the J.Q.A. Young house site, and it was tree keepers that initiated that. I've been fighting to make sure they were recognized. Everybody was getting mentioned except tree keepers, but that will be occurring at 2:15, so we'll have a program for the tree fans.
And that's the hickory tree and the
Pear tree
Bartlett
and the apple tree.
pear and the apple tree.
And they've been mentioned in part because there are very few heritage trees that exist in conjunction with the house where they were the family orchard.
And Mary Lou, what do you have?
Well, I just wanted to say that I'll be there with the tree keeper table. And it was Susan Mates that originated the application for the 3 trees to be designated as heritage trees. And so we're very happy that they were chosen and that the dedication will take place at the Cider Festival. So look for me. I'll be
Boy.
there with the table. Thanks.
Great. The hickory tree is kind of a mixed blessing because about the time the cider festival happens, it starts dropping its rather heavy fruit nuts down on the ground, and so it makes sitting under the tree a little dicey. But
we did have a concussion.
That is the quintessential definition of dicey. Okay, so CPO updates. We're up to CPO 3. Anybody from CPO 3 want to weigh in on offer what you're up to, what your agendas look like, what the issues are, any good jokes? CPO 3, CPO 4M. Jim, do you got anything to say about CPO 4M?
No, we keep chugging along. We'll have another meeting next week. We're reviewing different things. So I guess my question here, since I missed the first 40 minutes of the meeting, has this meeting been recorded? Will I be able to find it on YouTube or
Yes.
place else?
Yes.
Okay, because I want to catch up and see what was said about the modernization. And
well, very little was actually said about the modernization. The topic was really the transformation from from the OEICE to the Office of Access and Opportunity, with some sort of overarching issues discussed. So modernization is something that will definitely be on the agenda in future meetings.
What is their timeline on that? Do you know?
We
don't really know.
Next several weeks was
Well,
kind of what was said.
We're starting the work in the next.
Yeah, so I would imagine it would be a November, December-ish kind of discussion. Although we could discuss, we could certainly. I sent out I'll send out the analysis that we have of the 5 guidelines.
Well,
we can go from there.
That was already sent.
Yeah, I mean, it's out. I'll ping everybody to remind them that it's something you can look at.
And we
You
sent
can
it,
send it out. You can send it out again so we can find it easier.
Okay,
It doesn't
But it
cost
was-
anything extra, no extra postage.
it was sent to the board, it was sent to OAO. And we have not received any sort of response, even thank you for sending that.
well. Okay, I don't want to spend much more time kicking that around right this second, unless somebody insists on something. Okay, so CPO 4K. Gretchen, you might be CPO 4K, put on your CPO 4K hat.
4K didn't meet the last couple of months. So I don't know what's going on. Theoretically, there's a meeting the last Monday of the month.
Okay. It's canceled. Okay, makes coming up with an agenda easy. CPO 4K, CPO 5.6, CPO 6.
Yeah, I am not sure. We've been on hiatus also for a couple of months. I'm not sure. I know Nancy and I have been on hiatus. Nancy, I'm not sure if you have anything that you've come up with just in the last couple of days or not, or
I think it's a different Nancy.
is that a different Nancy?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Nancy. I was thinking of another Nancy.
But CPO 7, that certainly is the right Nancy.
Okay. I was inquiring, trying to get the Aloha Incorporation kick-started again. And I did inquire with Washington County again, and I got a response back from Kimmy Sloop. I'm not sure if anyone's ever talked to this person. Anyway, I'm going to read a quick email. I just thought her reply back to me. And it says, the Urban Services Framework Project is looking at how urban services are currently provided in the urban unincorporated parts of the county and the implications and challenges for providing those services in the future. The project is funded through an American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, and is being done in partnership with Beaverton and Tigard. Okay, that part makes me nervous. The project focuses on technical details. How are services provided today, ? How much does it cost the county to provide the services? Would the cost change of if another entity provided the services, et cetera, et cetera. We are in the early stages of gathering data at this project, identifying the current service providers and financial and practical considerations for changing service providers. The discussion of incorporation will be part of the next phase of the study. I anticipate we will have information to share about the incorporation in the spring of 2026.
Who sent that out?
Kimmy, K-I-M-I, Sloop, S-L-O-O-P.
From what?
Washington County Senior Planner. So anyway, we're still working.
It's actually kind of big news.
That is kind of big news.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And
Well, and it was part of the work program that was adopted, I believe, for LUT.
Urban Services Framework Project.
Yes.
So I'll forward this email out, but I mean, there's not a lot of info in it other than what I just read, but at least you'll have it. I'm
Thanks
still
for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work with Metro to find out, what they think, but we're just kind of trying to regroup and figure out how to proceed. So that's the CPO 6 news for the day.
That's news. Okay, CPO 7. Oh, Ayla, what do you have?
Oh, I just was going to say, you said the scary word for me, Metro. And I guess we really need to look closely at what their goals and objectives are and make sure it's helpful and not a devious way to start controlling our county without us. That my worry is that Metro can become contiguous in their properties across our county, and then they have jurisdiction.
Well, I will just interject that our interaction with Metro is strictly for funding to do a feasibility study. So whether or not
That's
it
good.
proceeds or not is another question. So
Yeah, hopefully they're not buying the land.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we're on to CPO 7 now.
Excuse me, Ken, could you send me a copy of what you just talked about, please?
Yeah, I was going to send it out to everybody after the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Nancy, do you want to take CPO 7?
Oh, yeah, sure. So we have a meeting scheduled in October. That'll be our elections. At this point, we don't have anyone who's stepped forward to say that they are going to run for office. So, but we continue to be hopeful. I do have a question. If the middle housing subcommittee from the CCI is has any information about the legislation that was passed at in the legislature at the most recent session. If there's updated things that we can look for in the middle housing realm for the upcoming year, ordinances year. Mary, I'm sure I'm missing something, so feel free to step in.
So actually, I was hoping we'd have people in person at this meeting, and I brought in paper copies of our CPO 7 accomplishments during our last fiscal year. And I guess maybe I need to email that out to everybody, because I think it's a valuable exercise for each CPO to go through, because everybody seems to want to evaluate us based upon butts in seats. And if you can put together lists of things that you've done during the year, it, I think, ends up being a lot more valuable than just the butts in seat metrics.
I agree. The CPO 7 list is pretty impressive.
And I think every CPO, when you sit down and look at the things that you do during the year that really don't get counted, it really does add up to a pretty lengthy list.
Jim, what do you got? You're muted if you're saying anything.
Okay, a little bit of humor. So instead of counting just butts and seats, you get twice as many if you count buns and seats.
Glad middle school's catching up with you. CPO 7, CPO 8, North Plains, anybody? Don't see anybody. CPO 8, 9, 10. Drum roll. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14, Ayla.
Yes, and my trusty secretary is with us, Barbara Brennan, who always saves the day. Barb, is there anything you want to say about our wonderful CPO? We didn't meet. I had a family emergency.
Seems to be two microphones involved in that somewhere.
Is that from me?
I think so.
Oh, that's weird. Is it still doing that?
Nope.
Oh. Anyway, we did not meet in August because it's farmers time. And we had an emergency for me, and so we didn't meet in September. We were going to go over home rule and get a little deeper into what that means for this county. So we'll put it on the back burner. We are now a 2-signal town, Banks. Officially, the lights will start working pretty soon here. So
did you have the home rule presentation or not? I didn't catch that.
no, we were going to do that for September, and we did not have the meeting.
Okay.
So we will put it on to maybe November. Yeah. Or December.
Later.
Yes. So yes, Banks is now a 2-signal town.
Wow.
We are still mourning the 100-year-old Potter sequoias that they tore down on the Wilkes property. We tried everything we could to stop it, and we failed. And they're pushing a lot of dirt off that property that they've been warned that they should have done archaeological testing first, and they've just said we're going to watch as we work. So they disregarded that as well. Very disappointed with the city of Banks for not having the courage to just be proactive and solution oriented. So a lot of sadness in Banks. Now we're trying to save our Union High School that was built in 1919. So Goal 5 is a big deal for us at Banks, and it's not being implemented.
Mm.
I think that's the big news that I have.
Okay, thank you very much. And then CPO 15.
I don't really have anything to report, partially because the last 2 meetings I had schedule conflicts and had to leave halfway through the meeting. So I'm not aware of anything new to report.
Filbert Harvest is about to get underway. Or hazelnut harvest, as the world knows them by.
Are we supposed to attend the October? Are we having a big October joint meeting in October? Is that the big Zoom?
Oh, yes. Yes, there is a joint meeting in October.
The joint meeting will be happening on October 23rd. It's a hybrid meeting, and it will be on the local levies. So the public safety levy, as well as the local library levy. The in-person location will be the Kenton Grange, and then online will be via Zoom.
And you will be inviting all of the CPOs to that?
Yes.
Yeah, good. This could be a harbinger of things to come.
Bruce?
Yes, ma'am. Gretchen.
If I could just pass one little thought, please, everybody take a look at the land use laws changes that came out of the legislature. They're really frightening. I'm on the planning commission here in King City, and I'm finding almost all of my discretion has now been removed in terms of local discretion as to development. And everybody who's interested in land use should look into the new legislation. It's scary.
Who would Susan McLean be the representative?
Yes, she'd be a good person to talk to. I'm really quite upset about what's been going on in Salem. They're trying to, they're working on housing and they're ignoring the 800-pound gorilla which was in the last recession, the lenders stopped lending to any developer who couldn't self-finance. And so you have just a bunch of big boys that can run around and do whatever they want. And it's a problem. So please.
Gretchen, what bills in particular are you?
I can't
looking-
tell you the numbers off the top of my head.
Okay,
It's,
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Gretchen, did you say there was a blog, a land use blog that had this information?
no, you need to look at the bills that came out of the session, including a 45-day rule from the time basically 120-day rule would go away. And that's scary.
And it would become what, 90 days?
45 days from date that the application's deemed complete.
I thought it was a 90-day.
So anyway,
Basically eliminating
yeah,
community engagement.
that's my concern. So please look into it. It twaddled around of 90 days, 45 days. It's just, anyway,
Yeah,
please be
Okay.
aware, guys.
thanks.
We were supposed to have our state rep at our September meeting, but she bailed on us at the last moment.
Well, she got sick.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
bailed. I mean, it was not like she decided to go drinking instead of come and talk to us.
Well, we only have her word for it. Sorry.
Okay,
are you
Nancy.
done with your report? I have just something to mention.
Well, okay.
I have to go down to the county building on Monday, and I drove down Jackson School Road between Highway 26 and Evergreen.
And it's closed.
No, it's open, but there's a huge amount of work being done to widen it. And as far as I know, that is all in aid of the industrial development that's happening along there. And I got to thinking about the fact that we, the taxpayers, are paying for that. And we're paying for companies that can just lay off a third of their workforce. And the county has been vigorously investing in these companies on the theory that they will employ people, but that's far from certain. And it's just something that's a little burr under my saddle.
Well, there's a big data center going in on Jackson School Road.
I don't know.
I mean, and
they're not going to employ hardly anybody, but we're paying for the road.
Well,
that's the burr under my saddle. I just wanted to say that.
do we know for sure that conditions of approval didn't require the developer to pay some or all of that?
I don't. It's not my CPO.
Well, okay. What is your issue? Okay,
but
Nancy.
I assume that we're paying a chunk. Anyway.
Nancy?
Yes, the legislation that I think relates to the middle housing that was passed, there's 3 House bills, and the numbers on those, if anyone is interested, is House Bill 2138, House Bill 3031, House Bill 3145, and Senate Bill 51. And I have yet to find anybody at the state who can give me a succinct information about what exactly is in that legislation, a summary of that. So if anybody has that, that would be great. Thanks.
I don't.
Does anybody know how LUT tracks the legislation that comes out of Salem? Because I would
It's
think
the lobbyist.
It's the lobbyist.
so. Should we be reaching out to the lobbyists? to get
Probably
us
be a good idea.
summaries? Or should we just talk about inviting lobbyists to a future meeting?
We've done that in the past. It was very enlightening.
Well, and I think this would be specific to,
Land use.
yeah, yeah.
It depends on who they're lobbying for, of course, what kind of information you're going to get.
Well, it's the county would be the the lobbyists we're talking about and seeing what the county is supporting.
Well,
Yeah,
but it wouldn't be supporting, it will be, what was actually adopted during the last session.
And it would be interesting to hear what the county supported of that.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know if they just share that information.
It should be public.
Well, they have their biases of what they want to achieve, and then they have to arm wrestle DLCD, of course, and abide by state statute. But I don't know how much blatant, transparent lobbying a county can do in the legislative arena, other than they have, the representatives in the county, right? I mean, for
Well,
example,
they should.
we have Darcy Edwards. Do county people talk to her? Well, of course. But to what level? I'm not sure whether you can get a summary. It's a good question.
Ayla, I think you would be very happy if you were able to go on the website for the League of Oregon Cities. They have their lobbyists, which obviously lobby on
Right.
behalf of cities. They
Right.
are very open, very transparent. They're an excellent source of information. I
Right.
can't speak to the county at this point.
Yeah, I don't know of the county having something at that level. I know of things like the Oregon Small Woodlands Association has their lobbyists who I'm hoping to get part of their team, get on their team for that. And, there's different groups like the vine growers have lobbyists for the wineries and whatnot. But
Well,
I
my
don't know about the
point,
county.
Ayla, is you are a city. You are part of the League of Oregon Cities. And
Right.
you have an opportunity to contact the lobbyists at the league.
Well, I've called their lawyer before and did not get any kind of help.
It's
So
not their lawyer, it's the lobbyist. There's a
Right.
lobbyist for transportation. There's a lobbyist for land use.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look into that with our mayor and Banks. I know she's very involved with them. She will be able to answer those questions for me. Yeah. Well, tomorrow the Senate will be interesting. They'll be voting on the tax bill. So I'll be down in Salem at 10 to watch the vote.
And that's the transportation,
The big beautiful
funding.
bill. Yes, sir. The big beautiful bill of transportation in Oregon.
I hope we're not
And-
calling it that.
I have one more comment before we go. Tomorrow is King City is hosting the Small Cities organization for our region, of which Banks is one. And from 11 to 1, which means I will not be able to come to the steering committee.
Oh.
I'm still working on this cloning thing, but I haven't gotten it perfected yet.
And Ken, you got your hand up.
Yeah, just a couple of quick administrative items here. I did forward that email I got from Kimmy and about 7 minutes ago, and I haven't received it. So I don't know, Aka, if you're still there.
I got it.
You got it, but I didn't get it. Not that I need to get it, but I would think I would be copied on it. And again, I've got some of my steering committee members that aren't getting CPO 6 emails. So who's handling that?
Bruce and I have access to the WACO CCI leaders thing. send me an email. I'm kind of tied up with the Cider Festival until Sunday, but send me an email and we'll double check and see that you're forwarded in it.
Yeah, it's not being, obviously, it's not urgent for this case, but I mean, if there's any future emails, I mean, I get
Okay.
emails from Bruce, but I don't, I get copied on them, but I'm not sure if they're just my individual email address is added. Anyway, other than that, I wanted to bring up real briefly, we're trying to do more hybrid meetings, and I don't know how other CPLs are handling this with getting good audio feedback to
Yeah.
the Zoom meetings.
Yeah, that's the sticky wicket.
Yeah. So
How was the audio in this meeting when somebody was asking a question? Did the microphones pick it up?
I heard everything. Of course, I was late also. I'd missed the first half hour.
Well, but like when Fran would talk about tree keepers, that came through?
Yes.
A lot of that is dependent on people's computers, the people that are remote, and that varies.
Well, I'm leaning towards saying that we need some kind of remote microphone to pass around if people have questions. We need some funds, I would think.
Or at least we need a multi-directional room microphone that could sit in the middle and pick up everything in the room.
Yeah.
When CPL7 was having their meetings at the fire station, I could hear almost nothing of the participants in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're in the county work session room, which is mic'd pretty well, evidently. But that certainly is a frontier that we have not tamed yet.
Yeah, we don't have to solve it here. I just wanted to bring it up.
No, the mic that comes with the Go Kit is supposed to be unidirectional, but it's not that great.
Well, I know we're not using it in this case. So some experimentation.
When we have, it tends to not pick up the voices very well that aren't close to the mic.
So Virginia, have you listened to a CPO7 meeting recently?
I can't, I don't know how recent. A couple of months ago in the
Because I know there was one where we were trying to use the speaker in the computer and it just wasn't working. And using the multi-directional mic, I thought things were much improved, but maybe not.
Well, I'm a hard case.
You are.
Yeah, I thought you were using a closed caption anyway, so.
Okay, I did a little sleuthing around and found that the Urban Services Framework Project was started on April 22nd. So
before the work program, LUT work program was adopted.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because it was adopted after the budget was adopted. It wasn't adopted until sometime in July.
The work program.
Yes.
Okay, well, so that means that the Urban Services Framework Project should have been in the work plan.
Well, it was in the new one.
Okay, well, we're in violent agreement once again. We got 1 minute till 9. Anybody have anything for the good of the order?
I move we adjourn.
Let's do an announcement of the CCI steering committee.
Oh, CCI steering committee meeting at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Standard, same Zoom link. Did anybody need that? Who's planning on coming?
Look on the county website.
It's on the county website.
And Bruce, send me a summary as you always do, please.
Send you a summary?
Yeah.
Of the meeting?
Of the steering committee.
Yeah, okay.
Since I won't be able to attend.
Okay.
And I will not be able to attend either. I'll be in Salem, so we'll miss you.
Fight the good fight.
Oh.
Okay, class dismissed.
Crickets.
Bye-bye.